to a unique journey, a bridge between two worlds, the present and the past. Today we take you into the story of the greatest event in history, the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but through a lens we can all relate to. Meet Thomas, a modern-day talk show host, sharp-witted, intelligent, and deeply skeptical. He's known for asking the hard questions, the ones others are afraid to say out loud. Faith to him is fiction, until he decides to do a special investigation of the story of Jesus' death and resurrection. Is it all a myth, a legend, or is it the truth that has the power to transform?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to Do You Believe It or Not? My name is Thomas, and I will be your host today. In today's segment, we'll ask the question, Jesus the Christ, do you believe or not? Now Jesus, born of a carpenter in the lonely town of Bethlehem, suddenly shot into fame at the age of 30, performing amazing feats that many call miracles, preaching words that challenged the status quo. Even as incredible, he led 12 unschooled men to follow in his footsteps. He had an illustrious 3 years of ministry, but he had his detractors. At the very height of his ministry, he was captured, reportedly betrayed by one of his own. He was put on trial, then sentenced to die the death of criminals. Later, his followers claimed he rose from the dead after 3 days. Now, in this special segment of Believe It or Not, we will vet key witnesses that day to see if their accounts hold water. And then maybe we can finally answer the question, do you believe it or not? Now let's just put our hands together and welcome our first guest. Welcome, sir. Can you please state your name for the audience?
My name is Barabbas.
Welcome, Barabbas. Can you tell us, where were you on Good Friday?
I was in prison.
Okay. Why were you in prison?
I had killed a man.
Wow. So, straight to the topic, how did you know Jesus?
Well, as the guards were escorting me out of my cell, and as I was making my way towards the podium, I heard a group of soldiers roughing up a man. At first, I thought it was someone like me, a murderer like me, and they were scourging him with painful whips with metal beads. But what really caught my attention is they were calling him the King of the Jews, and I never got to see him until later.
Oh, so you never actually saw him. Can you describe when you actually saw him for the first time?
No one told me nothing about this man. All I know is being led up to the podium. As I was being led up to the podium, I expected my sentence to be bumped up. But to my surprise, there he was. Standing next to me was this man, Jesus. He looked very weak. He was covered in blood all over, and he had been beaten up to the point I could barely recognize his face. And he had a crown made up of thorns placed on his head. Then Pontius Pilate came up to the crowd and asked who they wanted to be released.
Whom do you want to be released? Barabbas or Jesus?
Free Barabbas! Crucify Jesus! Free Barabbas! Crucify Jesus!
I found it a funny question, but to my shock, they picked me to be released. Me, a murderer, of an innocent man who needed to be crucified.
So what crossed your mind then?
But at first, I was happy to be set free, but to this day, still wonder what this man Jesus must have done to make the people want to crucify him and to make his own people, the Jews, hate him.
Thank you, Barabbas. Wow, what a character. Just for our first guest. But words of a criminal, we need more credible witnesses. Please welcome our next guest. Hello, Miss. Please state your name for the audience.
Claudia.
Claudia, okay. So what is your place in this crucifixion story?
I am Pontius Pilate's wife.
So how did you meet Jesus?
They brought him to my husband for trial.
Who did?
The Jewish high priest. They wanted him tried and killed.
So what did your husband do?
He tried him, of course.
And?
He found no fault in him. He was innocent. He had done no crime. Definitely no crime that required death.
Can you explain to us what was your first impression of Jesus?
He was a very humble man, but yet held an air of authority, like he knew he was a king, but he never defended himself, not once.
So what did you do?
I warned my husband
About what?
not to do anything with Jesus.
Why?
I had seen a vision. I shall not tell you what I saw, but I understood the meaning. That Jesus was who he said he was. That was what I told him.
And what did Pilate do?
He started doing what I asked. He wanted him released, but the Jews would not have it.
Crucify him! Crucify him!
Crucify him, they shouted. Give us Barabbas. There was nothing my husband could do. He washed his hands and handed Jesus over to the Jews.
He sealed his fate.
He sealed his fate.
Thank you. Visions of a woman. Was she sane or no? I'll let you be the judge. But we need someone closer to the source. Please welcome our next guest. Wow, welcome to the show. Simon, isn't it? You're one of the disciples of Jesus.
No. What do you mean?
You're not one of the disciples? Aren't you Simon? I think you were even in Jesus' inner circle.
No. Who said that there was an inner circle?
Oh. Aren't you Simon Peter? The one that Jesus called the rock?
Yes, my name is Simon Peter, but I'm not one of Jesus' disciples.
Sorry folks, I'm not sure what happened to our last guest. But we'll take a short break, and when we return, we will closely examine the crucifixion itself. So he took the place of a guilty man. He himself innocent and forsaken by those closest to him. What a turn of events.
Okay, Thomas, we're back on it.
Alright.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Believe It or Not, as we look at Jesus the Christ and his final moments on earth. Jesus had been put on trial, and Pilate handed him over to the Jews. Now, we talk to those who witnessed his death. Please welcome our next guest. John, isn't it? Aren't you one of those closest to Jesus?
They crucified him, Thomas. They crucified our Lord.
John, can you elaborate?
They scourged him, Thomas, with whips. They made him carry the heavy cross, haunted him all through the streets. They spat on him. They cursed him. Some helped him carry the cross. They were relentless. Some cried for him. Oh, Jesus. He led him all the way to Golgotha, Thomas. There, we witnessed his crucifixion and nailed him on the cross. Look at the blood on my hands, Thomas.
I'm sorry.
Even as they hung him, they mocked him with vinegar. They insulted him, saying who he said he was, the Son of God. But why did he not come down from the cross? He did not curse them, Thomas. He called down the Roman host of angels to slaughter them. No, save him. No, he forgave them. He forgave them, Thomas. Each and every one. Even the Romans. Even the Jews. They cried out to Abba, Father. But the heavens did not respond. All of creation, even the Creator himself, forsook him. He was left alone. He died. Where were you, Thomas?
I'm sorry.
We killed him, Thomas. You all did. The Lord is dead. Mary's son is dead. Jesus knew please take me back. So he tasked me to look after his mom. I have to go.
He said he was the Messiah. I started to believe. I started to believe every word. But he did not liberate us from the Romans. No. Instead, he died like a criminal. He can't have been the Messiah. I'm sorry I deserted you like Peter. I'm sorry I wasn't there when you died. But you had me believe you were the Messiah. But you didn't even defend yourself. Why?
Thomas, we have our next guest.
Sorry folks, for distracting for a second. Now to our next guest. Please welcome our next guest. What's your name?
My name is Zahara.
And who are you?
Well, I'm the wife of Nicodemus, the Pharisee.
And how do you know Jesus?
So, my husband and I, we were followers of Jesus since he began his ministry. Oh, and once, my husband met him in secret and he was one of the same.
Yeah, he had quite the following. You know, I believed he was the Messiah until he died.
No. Do you know his death was also prophesied?
What?
In Isaiah
chapter 52, verse 14. It states, "Just as there were many who appalled at him, his appearance was so disfigured beyond that of any human being, and his form marred beyond human likeness." The entirety of Isaiah 53 was about his death. It said, "Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him, and afflicted. Yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer." Even the psalmist David described how he would die to a T. In Psalm 22, verse 12 to 18. "Many bulls have surrounded me. They pierced my hands and my feet. They divide my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots." Jesus himself quoted the psalm when he cried out, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" in verse 1. Even the prophet Zechariah prophesied in chapter 12, verse 10, "They will look on me, the one they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only child." You know, Jesus himself predicted how he would die, and he even mentioned one of them to my husband Nicodemus. In John chapter 3, verse 10 and 14 to 15, it says, "Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, that everyone who believes may have eternal life in him." You are Israel's teacher, and do you not understand these things?
What have I done? Why could I not have made the connections myself? Was he really who he said he was?
So, you can ask me who I am or should I introduce myself? Well, my name is Lorenz. I'm a centurion of 51st Battalion. I was there when the man Jesus healed the king of the Jews died. I witnessed the whole crucifixion. The way he died was spectacular. I saw him offer up his spirit and breathe his last. As he did so, the earth shook. The dead rose from their graves. This was around 3 p.m. the night before he was crucified. I also heard right at that exact moment. For the moment the curtain in the holy temple was torn into. I was also the one who dropped the spear into his hand. When I did, water mixed with blood came out confirming he had died. I have never seen anyone die like that man did. And I am afraid that the hand I played, slaying the God's man, will never be the same.
So Jesus, you took the place of a guilty man, selfless. You yourself innocent, admirable, forsaken by your own, tragic, forsaken by God himself, unbearable. Just as the scriptures prophesied, truth. And through your death, you proved you are the Son of God. But what now? What now? We're left here, Jesus. Why did you lead us on only to leave us? What good is in that Messiah? Why did you have to die? Why? Why?
Jesus of Nazareth, once adored by crowds, now condemned, beaten, and crucified like a criminal. As he hung on the cross, darkness fell over the land, and a final breath he declared, "It is finished." His followers mourned in silence, their hopes shattered. It seemed like the end of the story, a tragic close to a life once filled with miracles, compassion, and promise. But the tomb was not meant to hold him. Something was stirring beneath the silence. The story wasn't over. Not yet.